Hello, everybody. Now we move on to the next speaker. She's Yayani. She a current PhD student at UNESCO. She obtained her bachelor in engineering and master from University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka from 2007 to 2011. She successfully advanced in her research career in composite materials, smart materials, energy and environmental pollution controls. Now we are welcome to Jenny presentations. Jenny, please share your presentation.
Yes, I'll.
Can you please share your slide? Yep.
Hope everyone can see my screen.
Yep. Over to you now.
Yes, thank you so much. I am Jaini Andrangi. Today, actually, I'm going to present my research study done for my PhD program, the development of carbon fiber reinforced composite structures with energy storage capability. My principal supervisor is Professor Jayanta Eparachi. I have divided my today's presentation into mainly 4 sections: introduction, research aim and objectives, results and discussion, and conclusion. First of all, I'll give a brief introduction about multifunctional energy storage composites. Multifunctional energy storage composites can sustain electrochemical energy while bearing mechanical loads. It can go beyond smart structures. Normally in smart structures, we use 2 materials to get 2 functions. But in multifunctional composite, we can get 2 or more functions by using 1 material. Here I have illustrated few recent developments related to smart structures. In first illustration, you can see they have embedded supercapacitors to store energy in the structural components. In the second illustration, they have embedded lithium-ion batteries in the structural components to store energy. In my research, I developed a supercapacitor functional energy storage composite, structural supercapacitor. Supercapacitors have many advantages compared to other energy storage devices because it has laminated structure, which is similar to composite manufacturing, and also it can be easily integrated into structural fiber reinforced polymeric components. And also the supercapacitors have many advantages in terms of electrochemical properties because it has high balance energy and power density, low charging time, and high cycle life, etc. In a supercapacitor, there are 3 main components: electrode, separator, and electrolyte. When developing structural supercapacitor, it is a combination of these 3 areas: nanomaterials engineering, electrochemistry engineering, and mechanical engineering. After conducting a comprehensive literature review, 3 research gaps were identified in the field of structural supercapacitor. The first one was the electrochemical properties are still low to utilize for real-world applications. You can see, as shown in this figure, the structural supercapacitors are suitable for many engineering applications such as electric vehicles, civil infrastructure applications, aerospace applications, but still the properties of the structural supercapacitor are low to utilize for those applications. Therefore, more research are required in future to increase the electrochemical properties. And also those applications always exposed to severe environmental conditions. Therefore, the structural supercapacitor should be able to tolerate harsh environment conditions such as elevated temperatures. However, that aspect still no research community has not addressed. In addition, innovative designs are required in future for enhancing the electromechanical properties, because still most of the researchers are trying to improve the properties of the individual material, but innovative designs have not found so far. The aim of this research is to develop a sandwich structural composite panel capable of storing electrochemical energy while bearing mechanical loads under both normal and elevated operational temperatures. As shown in this figure, I developed a sandwich structural composite panel which consists of a high-performance electrochemical core layer with two strong durable skin layers. There are three main objectives of this research. The first one is development of core layer, second one development of skin layer, and last one is development of sandwich composite. In the development of core layer, I have two specific objectives: to develop a structural supercapacitor for elevated temperatures up to 85 Celsius, to improve the electromechanical properties of the structural supercapacitor composite by incorporating graphene nanoplatelets. In developing a skin layer, my specific objective was to fabricate fiber reinforced composite as skin layers with high structural properties suitable for elevated temperature applications. In developing sandwich composite, that is my last objective, was to fabricate sandwich composite panel with energy storing structural supercapacitor core for elevated temperature applications. When I talk about the significance of this study, the developed structural supercapacitor have energy storage capability while bearing loads. Therefore, it will expand the application spectrum of fiber reinforced composites. The developed composite panel can store electrochemical energy even under elevated operational temperatures. Therefore, it is suitable for civil infrastructure applications, especially the civil infrastructure applications such as roofing sheets, wall bricks, frequently exposed to elevated temperature up to 65 Celsius, sometimes 85 Celsius in the case of fire. Therefore, since the developed structural supercapacitor is stable up to 85 Celsius, it is suitable for civil infrastructure applications. In addition, findings of this research will contribute significantly to numerous engineering applications, including portable electronic devices, electric and hybrid vehicles, aerospace vehicles, and beyond in future. From this onwards, I am going to present the findings and achievement of my project. My first objective was to development of structural supercapacitor composite for elevated temperatures. These findings were presented in the journal article titled Electrochemical and Structural Performances of Fiber Reinforced Structural Supercapacitor Composite at Elevated Temperatures. In this research, actually I developed a structural electrolyte based on bisphenol A, for which is suitable for elevated temperature applications. In preparation of the structural electrolyte, I mix ionic liquid with the bisphenol A. As you can see in this SEM image, you can see after introducing the ionic liquid, it has a bicontinuous structure which allows to make the channels for ion transport. Therefore, therefore, it has the ionic conductivity in the developed structural electrolyte. In this supercapacitor, I use carbon fiber fabrics as the electrode and glass fiber fabric as the separator. In fabricating the structural supercapacitor, I developed both single and double cell structural supercapacitors as shown in this figure. In single cell structural supercapacitor, I use two glass fiber electrodes and two carbon fiber electrodes and two layers of glass fiber separator. Actually, I use two layers of glass fiber separator to avoid the short circuit of the electrodes during the charging cycles. After curing the electrode, actually this is, in the right side it shows the double cell structural supercapacitor. Here I have used 4 electrodes and 6 layers of separators, glass fiber separators. In the right side image, you can see the fabricated structural supercapacitor. In this square, I show this is the effective area of the supercapacitor for energy storage. At both ends, I have attached copper sheets to measure the electrochemical properties. When evaluating the performance of the structural supercapacitor, I evaluated electrochemical and mechanical properties. Cyclic voltammetric test and galvanostatic charge discharge test were done to evaluate the electrochemical properties. I used the Autolab potentiostat, which is located in Springfield campus, to measure the electrochemical properties. Mechanical properties were measured based on the tensile and flexural tests. When evaluating the properties at elevated temperatures, I conditioned the sample at the relevant temperature for 2 hours in oven, and the measurements were taken while maintaining the corresponding temperature. This graph shows the electrochemical test results. In the first 2 graphs is for CV test results, and second 2 graphs shows the GCD test results. These 2 graphs is for single cell structural supercapacitor, and these 2 graphs is for double cell structural supercapacitor. So when I talk about the CV test results, and the area under the CV curve represent the capacitance of the structural supercapacitor. According to this value, you can see when the temperature increase, the capacitance has increased. And also according to the GCD test results, also you can see when the temperature increase, the energy density increase. Actually, it is happened due to the when we increase the temperature, the kinetics and ion movements increase. That is the reason for increase in the energy storage. And also according to these graphs, you can see always the double cell structural supercapacitor have high specific capacitance and energy density. It is obvious because the double cell supercapacitor has 2 cells to store energy. This graph shows the mechanical properties. According to this graph, you can see both tensile and flexural properties have decreased with the temperature. Especially you can see the ultimate flexural strength has reduced to more than half when the temperature increase. My second objective was to improve the electromechanical performance of structural supercapacitor composite by incorporating graphene nanoplatelets. Actually, these findings were presented in the journal article titled Electrochemical and Structural Performances of Fiber Reinforced Structural Supercapacitor Composite at Elevated Temperatures. In this project, actually, I use graphene nanoplatelet coated carbon fiber fabric as the electrode. In the way of preparing the GNP coated carbon fiber fabric, I prepared it like this. Firstly, I dissolved GNP in the isopropyl alcohol, and PTFE was used as the binder. Then the solution, the slurry was sonicated for 30 minutes and spray on the carbon fiber fabric. Then then I vary the GNP loading on the carbon fiber fabric from 0% to 20% and prepared 5 types of carbon fiber GNP coated carbon fiber fabrics, and I prepared 5 types of structural supercapacitor based on these 5 electrodes. Then I evaluate the mechanical properties based on tensile and flexural test. According to these results, you can see after GNP coating, the ultimate tensile strength has significantly increased. However, in the flexural strength, I didn't notice that kind of significant improvement, but tensile strength was significantly improved after GNP coating. Here I have illustrated the results of the electrochemical properties. Here also you can see after GNP coating, the capacitance value has increased, and also specific energy and also energy density also has increased significantly after GNP coating. In addition to these two tests, I evaluate the durability of the developed structural supercapacitor, because in developing this structural supercapacitor, I use GNP coated carbon fiber fabric. So when I increase the electrochemical cycles, the coated GNP may detach from the surface, and with the time the performance may reduce. Therefore, in order to evaluate that, I evaluate the electrocapacitance retention percentage after 5,000 cycles. According to these results, you can see there is no significant reduction in the capacitance retention after 5,000 cycles also. Therefore, the developed structural supercapacitor is a durable structural supercapacitor. According to this table, you can see actually almost all properties, capacitance, energy density, tensile, and flexural also have improved after GNP coating. My next objective was to develop my next objective was to fabricate a fiber reinforced composite as the skin layer with high structural properties suitable for elevated temperature applications. In this research, I developed a GNP modified carbon fiber nanocomposite. Actually, for that I prepared that one. Firstly, I dissolved GNP in the bisphenol A epoxy. Then the solution was manually stirred for 10 minutes, and then the solution was sonicated around 30 minutes. And then TETA binder hardener was used as the crosslink. Then after preparing the matrix, I fabricate the GNP modified nanocomposite by using 6 layers of carbon fiber. So then I used the hand layup method followed by vacuum bagging method to fabricate this composite. Since I have planned to use this nanocomposite as the skin layer for civil infrastructure applications, I evaluate the mechanical properties of the developed composite at elevated temperature at 65 Celsius, as well as I condition the sample in the environment chamber at 65 Celsius at 90% humidity for 15 days and for 30 days, and then I evaluate the mechanical properties. Especially, I evaluate the tensile properties. According to here you can see I evaluated the tensile properties without aging, after 15 days aging, and after 30 days aging. And also I evaluate the tensile properties at room temperature as well as elevated temperature at 65 Celsius. According to all these results, it was noticed that the GNP modified nanocomposite have high structural properties than the control sample, which was fabricated without GNP. And also the GNP modified nanocomposite has a high structural properties suitable for elevated temperature applications. After developing the skin layer and the core layer, my next objective was to fabricate sandwich composite panel with energy storing structural supercapacitor core. As shown in this figure, I prepared my sandwich composite. The layers were bonded by using two-system epoxy two-system structural epoxy. This sandwich composite were fabricated by using hot pressing method. The electrochemical properties are depend on the core layer, and the structural properties are depend on the both skin and core layer. After fabricating the sandwich composite, I evaluate the electrochemical properties and mechanical properties. For mechanical properties, I evaluate the flexural. I evaluate the flexural behavior. As earlier, CV test and GCD test were done to evaluate the electrochemical test. When I do this test, I did at 3 different temperatures levels up to 85 Celsius. As shown in these figures, in the first first graph shows the CV test results. According to that, you can see that with the temperature, the energy storage has increased. According to the this table, you can see the capacitance and energy density both has increased with the temperature, and it has doubled when the temperature is to 85 Celsius. My final sandwich composite panel, I evaluate the energy density with respect to the area and with respect to the weight. So according to this value, you can see the final sandwich composite energy density with respect to the area is 179 milliwatt hour per square meter and 8.95 watt hour per kilogram. That is the energy density of the final developed composite panel. In addition to these two tests, as earlier, I evaluate the durability of the sandwich composite at 3 different temperatures. According to this test, it was noticed that at each temperature, the developed panel has more than 75% of capacitance retention. This graph shows the flexural behavior of the sandwich composite panel. When the temperature increased, the final ultimate flexural strength has reduced to around 75%, around to 75, but still that strength is enough for civil engineering applications. Therefore, the developed sandwich composite have enough structural properties, even it exposed to elevated temperatures. As the proof of concept, I powered LED bulb without external load and with the external load. Actually, in this experiment, I was able to light the LED bulb more than 10 minutes for this small sandwich composite. As the next step, actually, I evaluate the potential of developed sandwich panel in real world applications. For that, I calculate the area of the panel required to light a typical 10 square meter room. Typically, for a room, the lighting level requirement for lighting level is 160 lumen per square meter. If the room size is 10 square meter, that means it need 1600 lumens. So if I use this type of bulb, the 7-watt Osram bulb to light up this LED, to light up this 10 square meter room, that means I have to light 3 bulbs. Because to get that the requirement of the lighting level. So then if I light, if the duration is 5 hours, that means I need 105 watt hour of energy for this room. So if I use my developed composite to light up this room, that means I need this 586 square meter area of sheet to light up this room. However, this is actually very large area. Therefore, as the conclusion, I calculate if I increase the number of cells in the core layer up to 65, because my developed sandwich composite has 2 cells. If I increase it to 64 cells, the composite panel total panel thickness increased to 84 millimeters, but the size is reduced to 4x4 size dimensions. So that is actually acceptable size. So using this panel, I can light up that the typical room for 5 hours with 7-watt LED, 3 LED bulbs. After that, I calculate the weight of the panel. According to the density, my panel total panel weight will be around 11.73. Actually, that is the conclusion of this project. So using this much of weight, I can light up a typical room for 5 hours. Actually, recently I completed my this research. Therefore, I should thanks to my supervisory team, as well as University of Southern Queensland, as well as University of Moratuwa. These universities facilitate to my research, and also I would like to thanks to head grant. So give the financial support for this project. Yes, these are the reference of my projects. Actually, thank you so much. It's time for the questions, if anyone have.